Hi there, this is Ken from Warriors Hope, and I did an interview with a veteran and his wife just so you guys kind of know what the veterans are feeling about our organization. Like, for some of you to know, this is Warriors Hope, and we are working with veterans in events and other situations. So we had to break it into two parts because it's a longer interview. So you'll be listening to part one, and then I'll come back on and you'll listen to part two. Hi, I'm Ken Patriquin. I'm the director of Warriors Hope. And today I have a couple with me that I'd like to interview. Um, Jamie is a veteran, and Sonya is a spouse of a veteran of Jamie. So, what I'd like to do is just ask them some questions. They have some papers in front of them because they have the same questions I do. And we just hope that this is going to give some insight into what Warriors Hope is all about. Okay. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good.
Kind of
Pretty good,
nervous,
thank
isn't
you.
it? This is kind of
Yes.
nervous having an interview.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're going to try to make it as natural as possible because we just want you guys to share from your hearts because, you're the veteran and you're the veteran spouse, and there are important things that we'd like people to know about that. So, okay, so the first thing is, how was your life before you came to know Warriors Hope? Just kind of explain, some things that were significant before
Um,
Warriors Hope.
for me, it was very confusing getting out of the military on disability because you completely change your life essentially.
Mm-hmm.
You go from um, life in the military to okay, you're injured, and now you're getting out, and the transition was pretty quick. So there really was not whole lot of time to get your mind straight
Mm-hmm.
or to start to sort things out. So it was kind of like I don't know. It's kind of like everything the military does, feet in the fire. They just kind of throw you into it and you figure it out as you go.
Wow. So you kind of came out and were a civilian right away.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. They
Okay.
give you, like 2 weeks, 30
Mm-hmm.
days,
Wow.
kind of the way it went down. But
Mm-hmm.
you got to deal with it.
So how did it go as a veteran's wife going through this time? I mean, what was it like for you before Warriors Hope?
Um, well, while he was in the military, I didn't really bother with the FRGs. I think I went to one or two of them.
And
And,
just a minute, what's an FRG? Just so
oh,
if
yeah,
people don't know what
Family
that is.
Readiness Group.
Okay, so it's kind of a group therapy or a group support?
A support group,
Okay.
like especially when they're deployed.
Okay.
The spouses, that's an organization for the spouses and the family
Okay.
members, to go
Okay.
and
Okay.
get some feedback or whatever,
Okay.
chit chat or fellowship, whatever. I kind of refrained from some of that, and I was a little scared to get involved, but
Mm-hmm.
then, like, when he got out of the military, um, it gave me an opportunity to touch base with spouses after
Mm-hmm.
being out. I think it made it a little easier.
Okay.
Put me in touch with even some veterans and female veterans, which was pretty cool, I
Okay.
think. There's a lot that goes on, in your active duty, so
Uh-huh.
to sit back and be able to, maybe I didn't take in what I should have taken in from the FRGs, but
Okay.
I really appreciated um, running in the Warriors Hope, honestly.
Okay. So you're saying that some of that experience you had of meeting other people had to come after you got out or after you met Warriors Hope?
After I got out,
Okay.
because it was a little easier, I think, to digest because we weren't, when your husband's deployed,
Mm-hmm.
you're only thinking about, their safety and,
Right.
your family, and that's what I thought, at least.
Mm-hmm.
What do I do with the kids? My
Right.
husband's deployed. I got to keep track on him. The news, you don't want to look at the news,
Right.
but it's more refreshing, afterwards to be able to get in touch with veterans and their spouses because it's past that point
Okay.
that you had of your experience, like like being deployed.
Okay.
It's not so easy to sit there and hold a conversation about it. I didn't think
Right.
it was, you know what
Sure.
I mean?
One of the other things you told me earlier is that when Jamie was in the military, now you were, was it on base or were you off base when Jamie was
We
in the
lived
military?
on base.
So you lived
So
on
we
the
lived in
military
the
base.
developments, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, so you had to live right up next to somebody next to you, and yeah, there's some things you don't want to see and deal with, but
Okay. Okay, so it was almost like being in the military yourself because you're on
it
a
was
base.
almost like being in the military myself.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still had to follow the rules regardless.
Yeah, you still gotta follow the rules.
All the military rules, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, you
Well,
did.
Even the kids, though, if the kids got in trouble, that means you were in trouble. So it all came
Yeah.
down on you, anyways.
Yeah, there was a
So-
ripple effect.
So that's kind of rough doing that. And then you come out and you don't have all that.
No,
Okay.
I don't have all that. Didn't have to deal with it. So
Okay.
it was refreshing to be able to deal, with people who were involved with the military or veterans, spouses, whatnot, and relate. You can relate
Okay. Okay.
to your feelings.
Okay. Well, my next question is then how did you find out about us? Because now you're out, you're civilians now,
Yeah.
and how did you find us?
It's a flyer, wasn't it?
We used to go to a cafe
Mm-hmm.
here where we live, and it was a flyer.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, an opportunity,
Mm-hmm. Flyer was about what?
Warriors Hope was holding a dinner
Mm-hmm.
at one of the local churches,
Mm-hmm.
and we were kind of iffy at first because people,
Mm-hmm.
but if someone's organizing something like this for veterans, why not go? Curiosity,
Okay.
drove us to want to check this out and possibly make connections.
Okay. Did you have any other thoughts about that, Jamie, when you guys found did you have a different view or the same as Sonia's about the
No,
flyer?
no, I'm pretty sure it was a flyer,
Mhm.
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
Okay. How did you feel about that? Because she's a spouse. You're you're a veteran now. Seeing a flyer that there's going to be a dinner for veterans.
Well, for veterans, I mean, if you're going to offer them some food, that's a win-win.
Okay. So you were ready to go.
Well, I mean,
Right.
worst case,
Mm-hmm.
you get a meal out of it, and maybe you hang out with some other veterans. So it was, I don't know.
Okay.
Hanging out with veterans is different than hanging out with, no
Okay.
offense, but civilians for the most part. At least you have some kind of what's the word for it? Mutual thoughts, mutual feelings. A lot of times another veteran will be more understanding about what you've been through because they may not have been through the exact same thing, but the way the military treats people is pretty same across the board. So if you have another soldier, Marine, or airman or whatever, across the board it's still pretty even.
Okay.
We still poke fun at each other, but there's mutual respect.
Right. Kind of a camaraderie just
Yeah,
between
camaraderie.
military guys,
Yeah.
any veterans. Okay. It's good to know. Okay, so that was kind of the first time you really heard about Warriors Hope. So now I take it you went to this dinner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, tell us how that was. You're going to a dinner.
Well, at first it was a little shocking because it was I can't say it was in anything, but it was the amount of people,
Mm-hmm.
and I was nervous myself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how he felt, but I was nervous because then I would have to interact. But also part of me was like, it's an opportunity to interact and kind of be around people who dealt with some similar things that I went through
Okay.
as a spouse.
Okay. What do you think, Jamie? How was it for you? Veteran coming into a veterans dinner. First time.
Other veterans being involved in Warriors Hope made it easier because for one, you've got that like mutual vision between the two veterans, and that similarity to talk about experiences.
Okay.
But it kind of opens the door because people that have been through the same stuff as you do have a little bit better understanding of what's coming and how to address it.
Okay.
Sometimes two heads are better than one to, figure things out. And even now, like through Warriors Hope, it is kind of along the lines of sometimes you sharing your experiences with another veteran may be just enough to put them over that ledge of wanting to seek help, maybe.
Okay. So it can be healthy, really.
Oh,
for
yeah.
a veteran
Oh,
to-
yeah.
to
I mean, hopefully, out of
experience
all of this, really, I hope that another veteran may see what we've been through and learn from it.
this. Okay.
I mean, the best thing that can possibly happen is whatever mistakes I've made or whatever places I've fallen. If I can help someone else not fall into the same hole, that's a good thing.
And so, do you think that happens with the events that Warriors Hope does? Is that what you're?
Oh yeah, I've had
I
I've
think
had
it
conversations with other veterans that were where I was a year ago that I might not be able to hand them the golden pill that fixes everything, but help them realize, hey, this is a work in progress. You just keep kind of plugging away until you figure it out. But I mean, you still got to put the work in yourself. It's just people kind of helping you go in the direction you need to go, and that's, I think, is kind of the purpose, is just to direct you to where you need to go.
So these events, it makes me think. These events, then, Sonia, you made it sound like not like an FRG. FRG is like a support group. This did not feel like a support group, then, did it? I mean, how did it feel to you? Did it feel like FRG again, or not?
No, because it was more than spouses. I was actually around
Okay.
military, veterans, people who were military members, service members, and
Okay.
even interacting with female
Mm-hmm.
veterans was kind of empowering.
Okay.
Because what they had to endure,
Mm-hmm.
and there's seeking ways to be able to continue to grow from that experience. And I don't know,
Okay.
Warriors Hope has a lot of things, in my opinion, like for you, someone who can be there to give a little oomph once needed.
Okay.
And it makes it easier when you have a friendly atmosphere to be able to kind of express yourself more freely about any experiences that you've had or that anybody else has had, because you're not under the gun or under fire,
Okay.
speaking about it. We all have different experiences, whether you're a spouse or a veteran, even civilians, and sometimes it's hard to grasp for civilians to understand what even a spouse, military spouse, goes through, or the veterans themselves,
Right.
and service members still serving.
So it sounds like then you're saying it was good to come up against all those different people.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
okay.
Just
How about you,
different
Jamie?
experiences.
And any other thoughts on that, or?
I just remember meeting one of the other veterans. I think he's on the board too, but I think I met him first, and I think we got along so well because I'm really blunt. And military to military is a different discussion than you'd have military to civilian. It's just the way it is.
Yep.
I think a lot of that just comes down to mutual respect and similarity in circumstances and what we've been through. But the similarity in experiences was just absolutely uncanny. I mean, it was crazy how much in common sometimes you have with other veterans. Different circumstances, but the experiences many times are nearly identical.
So it almost sounds like that you're saying that you guys talk the same kind of language. There's
Oh,
a
yeah,
military
definitely.
language that, everybody in the military, even spouses sometimes know the military language, right? And there's a language that is different. It's almost a different cultural language than civilian language.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
even different between it's even different from the language you have with your spouse.
Right.
Because
So-
you're working on a different mindset, and the mindset of the military is a very, very focused, very direct.
Okay. So that was part of the connection you made then, that there were other people that could speak your specific language of the military.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay. This is Ken. Thanks for watching the first part of this interview, and keep watching our Facebook page for the next part.